Today we're in Little Burgundy, downtown Montreal for the building of the Jessie Smith Park. We're going to find out who she was and how is a park built from A to Z. Let's go and find out. I'm present with Dean Smith, who is the son of Jessie Maxwell Smith. How are you, Dean?
I'm good today.
So the people watching, let them know the implication that Jessie had in this community, please.
Well, my mother was a community activist, and she was like a village mom to a lot of the kids in the neighborhood. So basically, she was a community activist.
This park used to be called Richmond Park.
Yeah.
So how did it become Jessie Maxwell Smith Park?
Well, after my mom passed away in 2000, my dad went down to the city of Montreal and lobbied for the park to be put in her name, and they agreed with it. And then they came back, and my dad told us they're going to put the park, Richmond Park, in my mother's name. It's because we lived across the street for like 30 years. You know what I mean? We were a part of Tyndale. I was a member of Tyndale since I was like at least 10, 11 years old. You know what I mean? So basically, it was a good idea, and it worked.
Now, I know it took a very long process to get to this point that we are today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what do you have to do now to get to this process? Who are your community partners with?
Well, what happened is that the city of Montreal was maintaining the park, and they were gonna they wanted to redesign the park basically. So they spoke with Tyndale, and what Tyndale did, they got in contact with Kaboom and Forrester. What they do is they build design parks for kids all across the USA, and I guess sometimes in Canada. And they got together with them, and they made an application to them, and they liked the application, they liked the idea, and that's how everything came to light.
Now, I know you say your mother's a community actress, but she did a lot more for the community. Give us some examples of things she did.
Well, we had a school called Royal Arthur that was over on George Vanier, just below Notre Dame, and she was a substitute teacher there. Whatever the principal, she'd always fight for all children's rights. Whenever the principals used to go to meetings at the Prosser School Board and they couldn't say things, they'd get her to come because they know she would say anything and whatever they needed her to do. She was high on education. She took kids on trips to like McGill and Concordia to let them see that this could be their future. She was a Mother of the Year in 1981. There's a bunch of different awards that she won.
She also took a lot of kids in to her house.
100%. If you were hungry, you could eat at our house. My house was the house where everybody would hang out at. You know what I mean? If you could be at your own house, if you want to watch hockey late at night, you can come at my house and hang. You can sleep. As long as you call your mom and let her know you're at my mother's house, everything's good.
So stay tuned, because later on in the show, we're going to talk to someone who's going to give us the A to Z process of how to build a park. Stay tuned. We are still at the building of the Jessie Maxwell Smith Park here in Little Burgundy, downtown Montreal. And I'm with Evelyn for Kaboom, who's one of the main people helping with this project. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited to be here. This is a phenomenal project, and as you can see, things are coming along really well.
So talk to us about the process. You know, what does Kaboom do when it comes to building parks?
So Kaboom is a national nonprofit, a U.S.-based nonprofit dedicated to saving play. Okay. We build playgrounds all across the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Okay, cool. We've been around for 16 years doing this, so as you can see, we've perfected our style of actually involving communities. We have funding partners as well that we combine with and find communities that they work with, and we'll be the middleman between the two of them in order to make these kinds of events happen. Yep.
And why Jessie Maxwell Smith? Why did you guys decide to get involved with this park?
So our organization received an application from Jen Decum from the Tyndale Community Center, and asking for assistance renovating their park before I came about 8 weeks ago here to Montreal to look at the site, inspect it, and meet with the community as well. And the site was very bare, very old equipment. We're talking about 20 plus years old, not in safe or playful conditions whatsoever. So they were a perfect candidate, and at that point they had already been selected. They were committed to getting volunteers on site and committed to really getting everything that they need for this type of event.
Okay. So now for this type of event, you clear out the park. What happens next?
Right, so the City of Montreal, they actually were phenomenal and helped with all of the site preparation for this particular project. We do need, before we can start anything, a couple days before our project is ready to go, we have to make sure that our site is clear, of any debris, that it is a flat level surface, that we can go in ahead and start drilling our holes for our posts, that it's in, the soil is also clear of any contaminants, and we don't have any running utility lines below. So a lot of technical and logistical things go into it, certainly.
And I see the guys here are cementing stuff, right?
Absolutely. So we got very lucky today, and we have folks from the Army, wonderful, wonderful gentlemen here, who are helping mix concrete. Obviously, concrete is what's going to help these posts set. And we have to actually keep the park closed for 3 days, for 72 hours, while the concrete sets before any kids can play on it.
So what's this park going to have?
So we have rock blocks over here on the far side. I guess I'll start from behind me, so the camera can capture this pretty easily. But we have swings here. We have an accessible seat for any ADA accessible handicap children. So that's a wonderful, wonderful asset for the community. A lot of folks really like those. In addition, we have a spiral slide which will go up. It's not up yet, so it's in the making right now. Smaller pieces as well for smaller children. So this is a 2 to 12 playground, ages 2 to 12.
Okay, well, congratulations on all your work.
Thank you.
Just let us know your website, please.
Yes, kaboom.org, kaboom.org. Check us out, and you'll find out really great information, and we'd love to come back to Montreal and do work here.
Great. Thank you.